Okay, guys. On the last session, we have spoken about. We have just had some introductions about the Duolingo test, the Duolingo English test. We have spoken about the test security, about how the test can help you, for example, minimize your stress. We learned about some free resources that you can find to practice your English and to practice for the Duolingo English test, and also some extra things about Duolingo. Particularly in this session, we will cover these topics. The first one, how to practice English. On the last session, I told you that if you want to get a good score in your Duolingo English test, so don't just stick to the test itself. Don't just stick to the, for example, question types that you have for this particular English test. Just try to level up your English. Try to work on your performance in English. That's the best thing that you can do. So particularly for tonight, we will cover the topic which says how to practice English. Particularly, we will talk about speaking, reading, listening, and writing. 4 core things in a language. Particularly in English language, we will talk about how to, for example, practice for reading, how to practice for speaking, for listening, and for writing. When you level up your the amount of your knowledge on all of these 4 tasks, 4 skills, exactly you will get a good score in the Duolingo test. And then we will move on to the topics like how to test your best and how to, for example, pace yourself. And we will cover these topics. And then this chapter will be done and we will move on to the test structure. So particularly first, I'll cover this topic which says how to practice English. Guys, the best way to prepare for the test is to immerse yourself in English as much as you can. As I told you that if you want to learn English, if you want to improve your English, just make your environment English. When you watch a movie, to try to watch it in English. When you listen to a music, to try to listen to an English music. When you listen, for example, to a podcast, to try to listen to an English podcast. When you read something, try to read that in English. Just make your English and your environment English. Just keep in touch with English as much as possible. This will pace your the journey of your English, and it will help you. Learn as much as possible in a very short period of time. And there are many ways you can practice English language skills leading up to the test and to prepare for studying or working in an English-speaking environment. And when teaching or learning a foreign language, many people focus on the speaking, writing, reading, and listening skills. Here are some favorite tips for practicing those skills, and also shared from the Duolingo blog, which is blog.duolingo.com. So this on this link or on this website, you can look to the things or look to the blogs that they have been written by the Duolingo teachers, so you can find a lot of good and useful materials there. So particularly, let's dig into these 4 skills and speak about, for example, the tips for having a better speaking, tips for having a better reading, tips for having a better listening or a better writing. However, yesterday you have asked many questions about, for example, techniques or strategies of strengthening your speaking or reading or listening or writing. So having keen attention to this part, you will find your answers. So particularly, let's dig into speaking. How to increase your speaking. How to, for example, develop your speaking in English language. There are 3 tips that are mentioned here. The first tip says that take advantage of time alone or at home to talk to yourself in English. Narrate what you're doing. Think out loud about plans, or challenge yourself to describe favorite traditions or childhood memories. A big component of speaking is retrieving words from memory, and you can do this kind of practice on your own from anywhere. Guys, what the first tip says? It says that try to practice speaking English with yourself. So how? For example, when you're in your room, pretend like you're, for example, presenting something to someone and start speaking loudly, okay? Or when you, for example, doing some chores at home or doing some tasks, so try to think in English or try to talk to yourself in English. For example, you are doing something. For example, you are doing a chore. For example, you are studying, you are writing something, you are going somewhere, you are doing a task. Try to describe your moments in English. For example, right now I'm having my Duolingo English test preparation class. There is a laptop in front of me, and there are a lot of books around myself. I can see some stick notes and some posters in front of my desk. I have a glass of water here. So this is, for example, a kind of explaining your environment, talking with yourself. Okay? Or, for example, you have a just choose a topic with yourself. For example, about environment, about global warming, about artificial intelligence, about new model of iPhone, about new cars, about electronic cars, about self-driving cars, about, for example, space stations, about moon, about Earth, about anything that comes to your mind. So choose a topic and speak English with yourself. Just do it all the time. Okay, I mean, this really helps to strengthen in the speaking part. Okay, it will help you increase your speaking or develop your speaking skill. This is the tip that the book said, and I want to tell you one more tip. When you are reading something, for example, just you have a book, for example, let me just, yeah, here I have a book by the name of Becoming from Michelle Obama. For example, this is a book. Just open the book and start reading it. So don't read it, for example, slowly with yourself. Just read it aloud. Read the words aloud, because reading aloud help you pronounce correctly. When you just read aloud, you will it means you will somehow hear your own words, and you will correct yourself with the pronunciation. And this way, you will this kind of reading, which you, for example, read aloud, in fact helps to have help you to have a very good and effective speaking. So it really helps. The first thing, talk with yourself about any topic that you select. Just choose a topic and then start presenting that, or start, for example, talking about it. And then, for example, when you read something, start reading it aloud. The second tip that is here for speaking, it says that when you watch movies or videos in English on your own, repeat what you hear to give your tongue the brain and brain some practice with the new sounds. Write down or record especially funny lines or catchphrases to incorporate into your around the house speaking practice and blah blah things. So guys, when you are watching a movie or when you are watching a video in English, so try to repeat their words. Okay, let me show you a technique. Let me tell you about a technique. For example, there is a video in English, so don't repeat their words, don't repeat their sentences the same like they say. For example, in the video there is, for example, a woman. She says that today, I want to talk about, for example, that woman is saying, the words which I want to say right now are the words, for example, that woman is saying on the video. For example, the woman says that, today I'm here in Harvard University. I'm going to tell you about the Harvard University and its acceptance rate and how can you get into Harvard University. So today I am on the in front of the main center of Harvard, and as you can see, here is, for example, a very beautiful garden and blah blah things. So don't repeat the same words, don't repeat the same sentences what she says. Just turn it on your behalf. Say it this way. For example, say, on the video there is a woman. She is talking about Harvard University. She is in front of the main office of Harvard, and she is in fact presenting about the ways of getting into Harvard. She says that the garden is very beautiful. For example, she has a black coat and she has a microphone with herself. It means tell it this way. You try to describe the video. You try to, for example, change the sentences that the woman or the man on the video is presenting. This way also can generate your speaking and can develop your speaking so much. And the last step that is mentioned here is that there will be some sounds in English that will feel especially tricky to get right. If you are having trouble with a sound or particular set of sounds, chances are good that others are struggling with them too. Search online for guides and videos that have extra information to help your pronunciation. So guys, on behalf of pronunciation or in the topic of pronunciation, so try to use from good dictionaries, because dictionaries are really the best possible resources that you can use for just checking out your pronunciation. Because in speaking, Yeah, and the speaking pronunciation is really important. So the strategy is that when you learn something new, okay, when you learn a new word, so please try to learn its pronunciation also. Okay, don't just learn the, for example, the spelling of the word or the meaning or the translation of the word in your own language. Try to learn about the pronunciation also. For example, this word. This is, for example, shopping, okay? So you know that shopping is shopping. Shopping means in Persian kharidari. So that just these two things. No, you should also pay attention to its pronunciation. How do they really pronounce it? Shopping, shopping, shipping. Which kind of pronunciation? So you should check for the pronunciations. So pronunciations are really important while you're speaking. So guys, let me tell you one personal technique that I have experienced and that really works. Guys, when you want to, for example, it means have a good pronunciation, I suggest you to choose a person, okay? For example, choose a person you like. Whether, for example, he or she is a Hollywood star, whether she is, for example, a politician, whether he is, for example, a billionaire. So I'm sure all of the people you have some, for example, some people that you like them, some celebrities, okay? So if you have any English spoken celebrity, for example, from America or any other country, so, and if you like, for example, to speak like him or to speak like her, so please don't look all of her or his videos, listen to the words he or she pronounces, and then you will somehow you will recognize or you will realize that your language is this going, like, for example, the same like him or like her. For example, except like an example. For example, your pattern is Elon Musk, and for example, she is an. I'm so sorry for that. He is an Englishman, and he speaks English. So do this. Watch his videos all the time and listen to his presentations, his talks on TED, and just when you listen to him, I'm sure you will realize that after a couple of weeks or after a couple of months, the style of your speaking and the way you pronounce the words, the way you, for example, present something, will be somehow copied, and it will be like Elon Musk, or for example, like Bill Gates, like Barack Obama, or like there are a lot of women celebrities that maybe you like them. Okay, just stick to them and watch their videos and try to, for example, mimic their pronunciations. Guys, mimicking the pronunciation of other people is really good. It really works. Okay, don't be afraid of that. Don't think of if I, for example, mimic other people's pronunciation, that will not be something good. That's fine. Just if you want to have a good pronunciation, for example, if you want to have a good American style pronunciation or American pronunciation, so watch the Americans speak English. If you want to, for example, be British, so watch British people speak English. Guys, for pronunciation, listening is really helpful. If you want to have a good pronunciation, so listen as much as possible. When you listen, for example, so much, be sure that you will have the best pronunciation possible. Okay, guys, so let's move on. We are done with the speaking part. So then we have here the writing part. So there are some tips on the writing section also. So we will cover the writing section. Then I'll give you time for the questions in these two topics. So on writing section, the first tip, which is stated here, that for fast and easy practice, try writing your shopping list in English. If you keep a list of tasks of every day, you can also try writing that in English. Very good trick. Guys, for example, try to write your daily tasks in English. For example, when the day ended up at night before sleeping, just take a piece of paper and a pen and start writing. For example, today in the morning I did this task, for example. Then, for example, I attended university. In university, I have met a lot of teachers and a lot of students. Then I went to the cafeteria for the lunch. The lunch was very delicious because there were some chips and some eggs, and they were really delicious because I like burgers. So then I had a seminar and I had to join that seminar. And on that seminar, I have spoken about, for example, tips and tricks of writing a professional essay. And then I came back home. On the way, that was, for example, a very a big traffic, and I arrived home very late. And then I hanged out with my family, and right now I have my Duolingo class. So that's it. It means every day try to, for example, write the tasks that you are performing on that day. This way you can help your English writing to grow. Guys, in fact, try to keep journals with yourself. Just have a small notebook and write your daily tasks, write your journals, write your memories there in English. It really, really helps, because when you write something in English every single day, so chances are that your writing will become the best possible version of itself, and you will, for example, be really good. And I suggest you that please leave the notebook. Please type it on your on computer, not on cell phone or on tablet. Just type it on computer. Why do I say this? Because when you're typing, for example, your daily task on a computer, you will be mastering writing in typing, because typing is the most important thing in the Duolingo test. Guys, please pay attention to the words that I'm saying right now, because these are all suggestions. Still, we haven't moved on to the question types. I'm still suggesting you do this, do that, do this, or do that. So just keep notes from these things and make a schedule for yourself and start doing that. It really, really helps. Guys, in TOEFL, the most important thing is note taking. If you are a good note taker, chances are that you will get a really good score in TOEFL. But vice versa, in Duolingo, the most important thing is typing. And there is no note taking in Duolingo. You don't have any paper, you don't have any pencil or pen, and you are not allowed to write something. Just typing, okay? So the most important thing in Duolingo is typing. It happens most of the time that, for example, there is a question type in Duolingo that they show a picture for you. For example, there is a picture of a man, for example, sitting next to a beach with his dog, for example. And they tell you that write about this picture for 1 minute or for 60 seconds. Just think about it. For 60 seconds, that's really a short time. And if you, when it is a short time, it does not mean that, for example, you can't write something. No, you can. I'm sure even in 1 minute you can write a paragraph. But the problem is typing. You have a lot of sentences, but when you type them, you will, for example, miss a spell out. Maybe you will you won't be able to find some letters. So you will face a lot of problems if you're not good at typing. So please work on typing section, and you can do it by writing, for example, your daily tasks every day on computer. Just open a file of Word and start typing the things you have done that day. And then, guys, here is another tip which says on your phone or computer, install a keyboard in English so you can practice using English to text, search, and post on social media. So this is the thing that I'm sure most of you are doing every single day, and this is the thing that I have suggested you a few minutes ago. And the next step is that make a friend at a Duolingo event, events.duolingo.com. Please go to this website. There are a lot of people around the world, a lot of students around the world joining this website, and you can find a friend there and you can practice English. Yesterday, one of you guys asked me about the possibilities of finding a friend for yourself. So please go to this website. You can find friends, not only from Afghanistan, from all over the world. There are thousands of students on this website. They can you can send them friend requests. They can be your friend. You can practice the Duolingo test together. You can speak with each other. So you can find a pair there which will practice English with you. So this website is your answer for finding a friend to speak English with. And the next step here says that find online communities and groups that use English and spend some of your social media time writing quick responses in the language. Soon you might be writing even longer messages. So guys, it says that try to just join some communities, join some, for example, some groups that they, for example, chat in English or they message in English. We are going to make a subgroup or a smaller group that the students who are, for example, present in this session, they will be joined there. For example, in the group we have around 660 students, but here we have just around 81 students. So the class is particular for you guys who are here. So we are going to make another group, and on there you will be allowed, you will have the possibility of messaging, and there you can, for example, message. You can even, for example, share a lot of information about anything you want. You can, in fact, you can practice typing there. So don't be worry about it. And the last step that we have here about the writing section says that in your longer writing, such as in response to a prompt, be sure to expand and support your main points with relevant supporting details and examples. Use a variety of linking words to show the relationships among ideas. Guys, when you write about something, for example, they give you a prompt. They say that, do you agree or disagree that social media has destroyed the basis of friendship and families? Do you agree with this statement or not? So chances are that you will agree or not agree. Or they say, do you agree with co-education or not? It means the education of both for girls and boys together in one classroom. Do you agree with this or not? So if you agree, there are a lot of responses. If you're not agreed, there are a lot of responses. Or there will be some questions like, for example, talk about a challenge that you face in your life and tell us how did you overcome that challenge. Or tell a memory of yourself from the past. Or tell about someone whom you admire and tell us why do you admire that person. So these are the prompts that you will face with them in a Duolingo test. So how to respond them. Guys, the first thing is the introduction. Try to write an introduction, and in your introduction, try to specifically tell your main idea. For example, if they ask you, do you agree or disagree that schools should be opened again for the girls in Afghanistan? Do you agree with this or not? So on the first paragraph for the introduction, you should state your main idea, that whether you agree or not agree. You should specifically state this on the first paragraph or on the first a few sentences, which are the introduction. And then, for example, you say, although lots of the people think that girls' education are not something very crucial, but I disagree with them, and I think girls' education is really, really important. So, and schools should be reopened for the girls in Afghanistan. So, in this sentence, for example, I have stated my point of view, and I said that I really disagree with the policy that the schools should be banned. So, I stated my point, and then I say, I think this way, or I have this opinion because of these two reasons. For example, I state two reasons. I say the first reason is blah, 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 blah. You just state your reason and you give some examples for that reason, and then you move on. For example, the second reason is blah, blah thing. You just say your reason and you just give some details and examples for that reason, and you can write at the end a conclusion. For example, to sum up, I want to say that I really agree with the girls' education and blah, blah things. So it means very shortly an introduction, at least two reasons and a conclusion. This can be a really organized and a good response for a Duolingo prompt question. So that's it. Tips for writing. So let me recap the things that we have learned on the speaking and writing section, and then I'll give you time for asking you questions. Guys, on speaking, I told you the first thing is speak with yourself. Just choose a topic and speak with yourself. The second thing, read the books aloud. Okay, just pronounce the words loud. The third thing, watch a movie or a video and describe it. What's going on in the video? Just describe it with yourself. And the next one, find English spoken people and just listen to them, okay? And just, for example, just make your environment English, okay? For example, when you watch something, when you listen to something, when you listen to a music, when you listen to a podcast, make all of these things English. It will really help for your speaking. And then for the writing section, the first suggestion was that please write every single day the tasks you do, and please type it. Okay, type it and make a journal for yourself. And the second one was that go to the website of events.duolingo.com and find a friend there to practice Duolingo English test with that person. And the next one, find online community to write and message English there. And the last one was that when you want, for example, to write something longer, so try to make your response very organized, and try to just convey your message, or try to write the things you want to say very directly and very extended, not very short. So these were the tips for speaking and writing section. So now it's time for you, if you have any question for these two skills, I mean the speaking and the writing section, you can raise your hand and so you can ask your questions, and then we will move on to the reading and to the listening part. So someone by the name of Abid. Abid, please ask your question.
Okay, sir, thank you. I have a question regarding to the writing section.
Okay, so please ask me.
Sir, as you mentioned that we should focus to develop our typing skills. So it means that we don't have any, we can say that practical exam. It's one of the online exam. We cannot give this exam offline.
Yeah, it's exactly online, and all the practices are available online.
So there is no opportunity to give it offline.
What? I couldn't get your question.
Sir, I say
So you want to
that
say that
there is
there are no
no.
chances that to practice this test offline?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there are chances. There are practice books. There are, for example, there are prompts on the internet. Just search for their prompts. There are even some PDFs of this test. For example, download the PDFs. You can work, but they're not so much effective because you need someone to monitor you. You need, for example, they bring you a sentence and they tell you that, for example, pronounce this sentence. For example, they just bring a set of words and they tell you that choose the real English words. So, however, it's possible to practice it offline, but it's not very effective. So please try to just
So
stick to the online practice websites.
can we give this exam offline or not?
No, no, that's impossible offline. It does not have any test center. It's just online with your computer.
Okay. Sir, the website that is mentioned in the writing section, it's not working.
So try it again and try to have a better internet connection. It will work. Don't worry about it. They're real websites. Okay, so if you don't have anything else to say, so thank you so much. Thank you for your question. So
Thank
you can lower your hand. When you ask your question, you can lower your hand. So,
Okay.
Bona Regina Mohammadi, please ask your question.
Hello, sir.
Hello, hope you're doing well.
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, please tell me your question.
When we want to write about an issue, we can write more than 2 or 3 pages. But when we want to speak about the same issue, we can't speak. Can you tell us what should we do?
Okay, exactly. I have stated, for example, some techniques and some strategies here. Yeah, very good question. Lots of the students just face to this problem. They can write a lot of things, but they can't say them in English. They can't, for example, speak about them. So I just have some particular suggestions for you. The first one, when you write something, try to read that thing and don't try to memorize it word by word. Please just read the information and throw away your paper and try to generate it from your own self, okay? From your own mind. Try to generate it in a way, or for example, speak about the topic without looking to the paper or without saying exactly the things that you have written on the paper. So don't do this. Lots of the people practice this way. They just write something and they memorize it and they state that memorize things. It does not work very well. Just try to talk about a topic without, for example, memorizing anything about it. Just look to the information and then try to generate your own sentences. It means let your mind to generate new sentences. The first thing. Secondly, as I told you, please speak English with yourself or with a friend. If there is not a friend, so please speak English with yourself. When you are doing something, to describe that thing in English. For example, when you are watching a movie, so describe that movie in English. And then read. Find books, read them aloud. Okay, reading aloud really helps. And the next one, listen. Listening is really, really important for speaking. You know what? When you are, for example, when you have a good listening strategies, for example, when you listen so much, your speaking will immediately be better. So there are these strategies and techniques that can help you with the speaking. Okay, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you can lower your hand. And bonus Sakina Ismail Zada. You can ask your question.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
I hope you're doing well.
Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well
I
too.
have a question that you say that if we want to use a dictionary, we should use a very good dictionary, and now I want you to introduce one excellent dictionary for us that we can use it.
Okay, a good dictionary for that. Oxford can work. Yeah,
You
Oxford.
get me?
Yeah. I got your question. You were asking for a good dictionary. Yeah, I think the Oxford dictionary really works. And then Oxford is the best choice that I can tell you. And also there are
Sir,
some English to English, yeah, some English to English vocabularies that they also can be helpful. So just search for them on Play Store or App Store.
I think Oxford is just English to English. Yeah, there's not Persian.
Yeah, in Persian there is a dictionary by the name of Tahlil Garan, and I have used it a little bit, and it looks good. It looks a better idea.
Okay, thanks, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the question. So the next one, Miss Nasreen, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you so much.
Sir, you have taught a lot of strategies about how to improve our English. So there are some tutor that say to us that we have to read a lot of book. So could you please recommend any kind of book that should be give the general knowledge?
Okay, guys, for having a general knowledge, so you need to learn in different topics. For example, you need to learn in sociology, in psychology, in, for example, nutritional science, in a spaces science, in space exploration, in climate changes. About every topic in the world, you should read something. Guys, I suggest you to enroll to the worldwide publication like the New York Times, like the Guardian, like, for example, the BBC, like the Bloomberg. These websites really work because they publish scientific essays, scientific research, and reading those scientific research really can help you to strengthen your general knowledge. Even they are much more effective than the books. But if you want to just dig into the books, try to just read the books that can help you, like the books like you can even read the novel books. They can help you with English, like Becoming from Michelle Obama, or the last girl from Nadia Murad, and or for example Atomic Habits, or How to Get Successful, or the English books of Brian Tracy. There are thousands of English books in libraries, even in Kabul, that can help you so much. So just go for them. And for example, books like from Steve Jobs, they really help for your general knowledge.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So the next person here, Abida Afshar. You can ask your question. Bona Afshar, if you have any questions, so please ask your question.
Okay, thanks, sir. And good night. Hello.
Hello, hope you're doing well.
My question is that during the speaking, we face with a lack of idea. So, what tips and tricks would you recommend for that?
Yeah. Yeah, this really happens.
Talking that time, because
okay.
All the time it happens for us, and we go. For example, when we're talking about one issue, another things comes to our mind. So in the time, I think it is something like distracting that. So cases that we take low score on that. So what do you recommend?
Yeah. I got your question. That's about, for example, lack of idea. Most of the time, it's not lack of idea. It's disorganized idea. For example, when you want to talk about one thing, something else comes to your mind, and it really gets difficult to concentrate on one topic. That's why the suggestions say that try to organize your speaking. What do they mean by organize? For example, if they tell you, do you agree with this statement or not? For example, you are agree. So write, it means when you are speaking, as soon as possible, find two reasons for your agreement. For example, this is the first reason that I agree. This is the second reason that I agree with the topic, and try to find at least one example for your reason, and just develop it in, well, particularly for speakings in Duolingo and in TOEFL. For example, organize it in this way. The first thing, tell the introduction. Then tell your first reason. Then tell the example and detail of the first reason. And then tell the second reason. Then tell the example and the detail of the second reason. And finally, conclude all the things. This way you can organize your mind, and it means the ideas will not just they will not be disrupted, and you can concentrate on a topic.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
And the question would not be like now, for example, the comparative questions. So what shall we do in other kind of questions?
In other kind of questions, this structure also works. For example, they tell you that share who is the person whom you admire and why do you admire him or her. For example, you say that I admire Einstein, Albert Einstein. So why do you admire Albert Einstein? So what's the reason? Just think with yourself. This is the first reason, this is the second reason, and this is the third reason that I admire Albert Einstein. So what's the example for the first reason, the example for the second reason, the example for the third reason, and the conclusion. Just this structure is really, really effective. It really works.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
You're welcome. So the next person, Lina Niazi, you can ask your question. So please make your questions shorter.
Thank you, sir, for getting chance. My question is also regarding the writing section. It's about that whenever I want to talk, I want to read some things about write about something, I lose my idea. I don't know what to write. It's a kind of problem. Although I'm good at speaking, but whenever it's come about writing section, I lose my idea. I don't have even more than one letter or maybe one word to write. I lose idea how to write about something.
Yeah, exactly. The same question like the previous person. Like I said, I thought Banu Afshar asked the same question for speaking, and this is the same question for writing. Yeah, the same thing works. Okay, in writing again. Well, the difference between writing and speaking is that in speaking you deliver your idea, vertically with your voice, but in writing you deliver your idea by typing. This is the difference. So the same structure works for both of them. In writing, so when you write about a topic, so try to select a main idea. After the main idea, at least 2-3 reasons, and at least 1 or 2 examples for every reason, and then the conclusion. This way you can organize your thoughts, and you will never be out of the sentences, or you will never, for example, you will never think that what else should I say, or you will never lose idea. Okay, so thank you so much. The next person, Banu Rahima, you can ask your question. Rahima Nabizada.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Good. So my question is about writing part. Yes, because we mostly our typing is not fast, so we can pay attention on the screen or on the camera. So we are looking to the keyboard or any other ways. So it has impact on decreasing our score.
Exactly. Absolutely. When you, for example, they ask you to write something, and they need, for example, 100 words. When your typing is not good, you won't be able to write 100 words. When your writing is not good, you won't be able to transfer your idea. When your writing is not good, you won't be able to organize your writing. When your writing is not good, you will blah, blah, blah. A lot of other problems will happen. So that's why I said that please concentrate on typing. And type, for example, the things you do every single day. Type those ideas, those tasks that you do in English every day. Type them on computer. It will help you. Guys, if you get, let me just tell you one thing. If you get in the practice tests, if you get, for example, more than 90 score in TOEFL, in Duolingo, more than 90 score or more than 100. For example, they say that your range of score is from 100 up to, for example, 135, or from 90 up to 130. What does it mean? It means that your English is good. Your English is perfect for Duolingo. So what's the problem? Why the score is so less? Why the score is, for example, more than 90 or more than 100? Chances are that you have problem on production part. Okay, when your score is not good, and when you are, for example, when the interval of your score is very wide, for example, from 90 up to 135, this is, for example, a very large range of score, it means that your production section is not good. What's the meaning of production? Production means speaking and writing. So speaking, that's okay. Maybe you, for example, you forgot the ideas, so please don't do that. In writing, chances are that your typing is weak. If you are really mastering typing, and if you're really good in typing that even you don't look to the letters of keyboard and you are just looking to the screen and typing, if you have this ability, be sure that your Duolingo test will pass on the best possible way and you will get the best possible score. So please do this and make yourself better in typing section. So thank you so much for the question. The next one, Bono Masuma, you can ask your question.
Hello, good night. Can I ask, you have my voice?
Yeah, I have it. So please ask your question.
Okay. I was just wondering that the academic writing is really needed in the real Duolingo test, because in the practice test I have never seen such a academic essay to write about. I have seen some in speaking, but not in writing. I was just asking about that question.
So particularly what?
I meant that writing is really important in Duolingo, because I've never taken the real test, but in the practice test, I've never counted the writing part so seriously.
So please take it serious. It's really important. Do you know what? When you apply for a university, they ask from the Duolingo company to submit your writing for them. This much important is your writing. You are on the last part of the test, or at the end of the test, they will give you 5 minutes and a prompt to write about that prompt. And they will give you, for example, 3 minutes, and they will give you another prompt, and you will speak about that prompt. And this speaking and writing, which is done at the end of the test, these two things will be submitted for the university. And even the universities accept them as your interview. Except you are speaking, your last speaking of Duolingo, they accept it as your interview, which is the most important part of your application for applying to a university. And the value of your writing on the Duolingo test is as much as the value of your personal statement while applying to a university. Do you know how important is the writing and the speaking section? So please take it serious. Okay, so the next person here, Miss Anis Gol, you can ask your question. Banu Rasuli, please ask your question.
Hello, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well too.
The first one was about the reading. I had a teacher in psychology preparation who suggested reading with eyes, not with tongue, out loud. But you suggest reading out loud. What do you think? Which strategy would be more effective or useful? And the next question was about the listening. I have although I listen to English almost every day, but it's difficult for me to understand academic listening. So what are some good strategies that I can take to improve my listening?
Okay, strategies about improving your listening. And also on the first part of your question, you asked that some of your teachers say that, for example, you should not read aloud. Guys, ideas are different, but I want to say that reading aloud really helps. We've experienced on ourselves, on our students, that it really works. When you read aloud, in fact, you are pronouncing the words. When you are reading silent, you are not pronouncing anything, so you are not speaking. In fact, when you are reading something aloud, in fact, it's a kind of speaking, and it really works. So I just want to give you particularly a homework. So what was your name? Sorry, that was. Yeah, well, Miss Rasuli, that was you?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Rasuli, I particularly give you a homework, personally for you. Please, find a book Okay, and every day for 30 minutes read that book. Read that book aloud. Okay, read that book aloud for 30 minutes. For the next week, in tonight, it means the Friday night of the next week, I'll ask you your experience. That how was it? Please do that. Okay, this is particularly your homework. For the next session, in this date, I'll ask you about the effects. That I'll ask you that, for example, which things you got new, and does it really affect it on you or not? Okay, just experience it, because the best answer is the experience. Okay. So thank you for the questions. So the next person, Mohammad Reza Saburi.
Sorry, sir, for the next question.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot the listening one. So for the listening tips, we will talk about it. So don't be worried about it. The next topic is the listening and the reading part. So don't be worried about it. We will talk about reading and listening. You will get your answer. So Mr. Muhammad, you're welcome. Mr. Muhammad Reza Saburi, you please ask your question. Mr. Saburi, your internet connection is really poor, and I don't hear you. Your voice is breaking. Unfortunately, your voice is breaking, and I really can't hear you. No, unfortunately, I'm not hearing you. So, Mr. Saburi, please find a better internet connection. I'll come back to you. Okay, the next person, Muska. You please ask your question.
Good evening to all of you. I have two short questions in the speaking part. So the first question is that if we kind of stammer or forget our sentence or what we were saying, so will they cut our mark? And the second question is that what are some things that we should do and shouldn't do in the speaking part?
Okay, for the speaking part, the things that you should do, I told you about those things. I told you about around 5 to 6 techniques and strategies that you should do on the speaking. And for things that you shouldn't do is your first question. Your first question, because you said that if you, for example, someone suddenly you hang during the speaking and you don't have anything else to say, exactly they will cut your score because you will stop speaking and you will forget things you say. So that's why it means try not to forget anything you say. Try to organize your speaking, and this way you can, for example, have a good speaking. And another thing that you should not do on the speaking section is that please don't speak very fast. Most of the time students think that if they speak faster, they'll sound more, for example, professional, and they say blah 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 blah. It means speaking very fast, and they say, yeah, it looks like I'm very blah 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 blah. It doesn't mean that your English is good. Speaking so fast, it does not indicate that you are a professional English speaker. Yeah, I'm just this topic looks funny for me because I have seen most of the students that when you talk to them, they speak very fast. And when you ask them, why are you doing this? They say, yeah, maybe because I want to look professional. So by speaking faster, you don't look professional. Or by speaking, for example, so much fast, it doesn't mean that your pronunciation, your fluency is good. Fluency is not fast speaking. Guys, if you speak so much fast or if you speak so much slow, they will cut down your score. Just speak normally when you are speaking to a person. When, for example, in a very normal pace. Try to speak in a very normal pace. It means just normally when you speak to someone, don't just speed up or don't just decrease your speed. Just be normal. And these are the things that you should not provide. You should not do them in the speaking part. So the next person, Abdul Raziq Asad. Mr. Asad, please ask me your question. Mr. Asad, if you have my voice, to ask your question, please.
Sorry.
Your voice is breaking. Looks like your internet connection is not good.
can you please tell us or provide us the links of podcasts that can support us?
Okay, I think I got your question. Okay, of course, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll share the links from different YouTube channels that can help you so much with this with these topics and different topics of podcasts. I'll do that. Don't be worried about it. The next person, Banu Nahi, do you please ask your question?
Hello and good night, everyone. First, thank you, dear sir, for creating this class and for your valuable time.
You're welcome. That's your
My
kindness.
question is, now I follow several strategy for age skills and really I confused. Can you tell us a general strategy that we can improve all four essential skills equally and effectively?
So what do you mean exactly by a general strategy? Could you give me an example of that? For example, particularly for every skill, there are different strategies because speaking is completely a different thing than writing. Or writing is a completely different thing than reading. Reading is completely a different thing than listening. So that's why in every skill, you need a strategy. You need ways of practicing that. So these tiny things can build you a castle. They can build you a good thing. They can build you, for example, a good result. So just stick to these small strategies on every skill and they will help you master on that skill. So by asking a general strategy, I don't know what to say for your answer. A general strategy like what? A general strategy can be taking a class. Take a class, and that class they will teach you all four skills, and that's a general strategy.
Yes, like creating a
Yeah,
class.
exactly. Because it means these tiny strategies on every skill can help you do that. Okay, because there are four different things. That's why they need different strategies to approach. Okay, thank you for your question. And the next person, Banu Nilufar, you please ask your question.
Hello everyone, hope okay, doing well. Sir, is there any specific way to make our to make our spelling? Because I'm a little bit awake in this part, so that's why I asked this question. I mean, is there any specific app or any other thing to help us to make our spelling correct?
Yeah, I suggest you two things. Okay, the first one, there is a game. There is a game that's mostly, for example, this. Mostly students play that game. There is a game by the name of I unfortunately forgot the name. That was, I think, vocabulary check or vocabulary game or typing game, something like that. Just search for that in Play Store or App Store. And that game is created for spelling. They just give you a word, okay, and there is a puzzle, and they say you that, for example, find the letters of this word, and you need to find the letters and, for example, connect the letters with each other, and this way you will learn the spelling of that word. This is one suggestion. The next one, please take a book or take a piece of, for example, paper which has an English words on that self on itself, or take a passage of English and type it or write it with your hand, word by word. Okay, just type it or write it in a piece of paper and concentrate on every single word. This way your spelling will really get better. I'm sure there are not, for example, a lot of words that you don't know the spelling. Maybe there are some specific words that are a little bit difficult. So try to focus on those words and learn those words. That will be good. Don't be worried about it. It means by typing so much from different passages and by that game that I told you.
Sir, could you repeat again? I mean, the name of that game.
I think it was vocabulary game by this name. Vocabulary game, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sir, another question as well. So, some words are so hard, like in pronunciation, like they're more than 3 or 4 syllables. So, about this part, how to make our pronunciation, like some words are so hard to pronounce that.
Okay, so personally, for your pronunciation, I want to say that your pronunciation is really good. It's really good. So don't be
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, don't be worried about it. Yeah, your pronunciation is, I don't know why, it's somehow like artificial intelligence. When in ChatGPT, they when you ask them for the pronunciation, they have the somehow the same pronunciation. I don't know, maybe you have practiced from the artificial intelligence or from the AI chatbots so much, you're speaking like them. And when you are
Uh-huh.
okay, when you are, for example, when you want to learn the pronunciation of a new word, so go for a dictionary, okay? Or go for AI chatbots, they can pronounce for you. Just learn the pronunciations, try to mimic the pronunciation, okay? By saying the word mimic, I mean just try to, for example, say the same word again and again, okay? However, there are a lot of phonetic symbols, a lot of phonetics and phonology rules that can help you with this part, but maybe you don't have a lot of time to study them. If you study them, that will be much better, but mimicking them will be a better idea.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So the next one, Bono Mahjuba Mitra, you can ask your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My question was about for the writing section that when we are asked to write about a specific subject, should it be completely, academic, or sometimes maybe our writing is too detailed and is not that much academic? Would we get marks for it? Or?
Guys, particularly Duolingo and TOEFL or IELTS, they are academic tests. So you need to write an academic word, okay? You need to use formal words. You need to, for example, use academic vocabulary. So don't be friendly with that. For example, they just ask you a prompt and don't write it in a way that you are writing to a friend. So be formal and use from the academic language. That's really crucial.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
And another question was for the speaking section, that sometimes we're asked about this subject that we do not have any idea about that, any information. Like it happened for me many times on the practice test, and I talked about some different subject just to fill or pass the time. If it happens for the real test, would I get?
Sorry, I didn't get the first part of your question. So could you please repeat it very shortly?
Yeah, I mean that when we are asked about a subject to talk about, or sometimes maybe to write about. So if we do not have any information, so we give wrong information, or we just talk about a different subject. So what would?
Okay, yeah, got it. I got it. Guys, yeah, if you have anything else, so please tell me. Okay, so it looks like your question is ended. Guys, when they ask you, for example, do you agree or disagree with this topic? There is no right or wrong answer. It does not mean that if you say agree, that's correct, or if you say disagree, that's incorrect. No. The amount of score you get is from the way you respond the answer. You respond to the question. If you respond it, or if you develop it correctly, you will get a good score. Guys, for example, there are 3 factors that you should consider in your speaking and in your writing. The first one is delivery, the second one is language use, and the third one is topic development. Delivery means conveying your ideas clearly. Language use means using correct grammar and vocabulary. And topic development means expanding the writing and speaking in a good way. So if you observe these things, you will get a very good score. Got it? You will get a really good score. But sometimes you can even lie. Let me tell you how you can lie on the test. For example, they say, what is your favorite sport? Talk about it and tell us why it's your favorite sport. For example, you just start. Don't think, oh my God, I don't have any favorite sport, so what should I do? So, for example, I personally don't have any, interest to any particular sport, whether it's football or whether it's, for example, tennis or anything else. So when they ask you, this kind of question for me, so what should I tell? I should write, for example, that no, I don't like any sports. So exactly, I'll fail the test. Choose, for example, say I like football. I like football because football is a very interesting game. I like some players like Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, blah 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 things. Okay, so they don't know that you really like football or not. So this kind of lying about your personal interest is not a big deal. If they tell you, for example, who do you admire? For example, you say that I admire Elon Musk, even if you hate Elon Musk, so no matters. You just talk about it that you, for example, admire that person. So that no matters. It means this kind of misrepresenting is possible, no matters. Okay, thank you so much. So two more people have raised their hands. Mr. Ehsanullah. Ehsanullah Mohseni.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sir, my question is about the writing section. For example, when we write or explain about the picture, obviously here the time management is so important. If we consider, for example, I had this experience, if we consider this punctuation or spelling, definitely I lose a little bit focus, but I can write a short paragraph. I mean, when we
Mr. Mohseni, unfortunately, your voice is really breaking and I can't hear you.
Teacher, now.
Yeah, now it's a little bit better. So please tell me.
I mean that my question is in writing section. For example, when we explain or write about the picture in 1 minute, obviously the time management is so important. Yeah. As I mentioned, I have experienced that if I consider the punctuation or the correctness of the paragraph, I lose a little bit the time. I can write a short paragraph, but without the considering of them, I can write a long paragraph. I mean that which would be better. I mean that a long paragraph without considering this or a short paragraph but correctly, which will gain a good score.
In one words, a short paragraph with correct punctuation and capitalization. Just this. Because quality is more important than quantity in these tests. If you write, for example, 3 sentences which are really good, they are complex sentences and they convey the idea. That's really good. But in some questions that they have word limits, for example, they tell you that write 100 words. So if you write less than 100 words, so that will cause some problems. So that's it. Quality is important.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sir, one thing more that some of my classmates as well leave some questions in message in chat group. If it's possible, please have a review.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, when I want to review the chat bots, I will, for example, I will not be able to listen to you. That's why I'm not looking to the chat bot. So that's it. Okay. I'll just put time for them also. So you can even ask these questions after the class, or you can leave. Maybe your questions will be solved on the next session. So don't be worried about it. Some of you are asking some kind of questions that we are going to learn about them. So don't be worried about it. So just 2 other people here. Shakila Sadat. Bana Shakila, please tell me about your question. So looks like your internet connection is not working. So Shukriya Farahi. Banu Farahi, you please tell me your question. Banu Farahi, do you have any question? Okay, it looks like your connection also has some problems. So if there is no problem, please ask your question. Okay, so Mr. Kazumi, I think you have written something on the chat bar but I unfortunately couldn't read it till the end. So please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Sir, recently I tried an online practice test for Duolingo. I encountered the question like they asked me to choose among or between 20 or 30 words to find
The real words.
English words. Yeah, native English words. Maybe they are not right from other languages. It is a bit strange for me because we have to understand the root of those words. So it needs a basic language of finding the words. If you tell me the tricks of this finding these words, which way we choose to find the native words is easy for us and help us to save our time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kazmi, for your question, but I want to just delay your question. Please just wait for the answer of this question, because the next chapter is the question types. On the question types, we will particularly come to this question and we will talk about the tips, tricks, strategies, techniques, how to solve this question. Dear Arch, for example, I tell you one technique right now and I leave another techniques on that day because you asked the question. One technique is that they replace the letters sometimes. For example, we have a word B-O-O-K. This is book. Okay? They write B-K-O-O. They replace the letters. And this makes the word wrong. This is one strategy. For example, here is a real world and they just change the letters. So this is a strategy. There are also other strategies that we will talk about it. So don't be worried about it. This is not the time to answer for that question particularly. On the day that we have came to that question, I'll particularly tell you a lot of strategies for solving this question type. So you're welcome. The last person, Bonus Sadat. If you have my voice, so please ask your question. Okay, so looks like maybe you don't have any question, or maybe your internet connection is not working. So you can ask your questions even on the group or on the personal messages. So guys, that's the end of this class. In this session, we have just spoken about the speaking and the writing section. For tomorrow, we'll talk about the listening and the reading section, and we'll move on to the other topics. Means for tomorrow, we are also going to have this session, and so please be online for that. And so that's it. That's all we have for this session. And thank you so much for tuning into the class. Hope you have gotten anything you wanted from the class. And I hope it was helpful for you. And for all the students who are watching us through the YouTube channel. So if you have any question, you can write your questions on the comments of this video. And we're going to find your comments. And we're going to answer your questions directly on the replay of comments. And that's it. That's all we have here, and you can just have the class from the YouTube channel of Falak Online Academy. So please subscribe for that to have the next sessions and extra information about different things, about different English tests, and all of these classes will be uploaded there. So thank you so much for tuning into the class. Hope you all have a good night. Goodbye.